and girls, let's talk about the coil, the loop. Sometimes people will call it the magneto, but it's the magneto assembly. This component here is called the coil or the loop. Okay, this provides the current, which makes your bike run, the current for the spark. Okay, so this is the #1 failure on motorized bicycles, in my opinion, besides people screwing up the chain coming off, alignment issues. But as far as a no spark condition, this is the #1 issue that you need to address here. I'm going to show you how to test it, how to prep it, how to install it, all that. Come on in here. Okay, so the magneto coil, where is it? Well, you're going to find it inside this cover right here. You're going to remove these 4 screws. Now, you want to be careful. If you've got the Phillips head screws, those things are kind of tight. They get crusty in there with shipping and sitting in a warehouse forever, whatever. This is where an impact tool comes in handy. Either the old school impact driver you whack with a hammer. I'll put a link down below for one if you need one. Or a cordless impact drill with the correct size bit. Okay, you want to make sure that whatever you use to try to get those screws off has the correct bit. It's kind of like it's in between a #1 and a #2 Phillips. So a #1 will get in there, #2 will get in there too, but you got to make sure that the screw head is cleaned. You've got your bit pressed in, you've got it aligned correctly, and then back it out. Otherwise, you're going to wind up stripping the screw off and you're going to wind up cussing, okay? So we got the cover off. You've got the gasket back there. Do a visual inspection, okay? So do we have a lot of corrosion in there? That will indicate that you've got moisture that's come in. The moisture is going to be a problem. The moisture will get into the coil here and short it out. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a digital multimeter. You need one of those as well. I'll have a link down below for any of the tools you'll need. Okay, and you're going to test the electrical current. It's not rocket science or brain surgery or anything. You're going to take one wire from your multimeter. You set it on ohms. You're going to put it on either the blue or the red wire, and the other one on the black wire. Now, if you've got the white wire on it, disregard that. The white wire is dead to us. Just forget about it, okay? We want to check the current flowing from the blue or red to the black. You want about 310 ohms, give or take. You know, if you're like 280 to 340, you're fine in that neighborhood. Typically, the problem is this thing here burns up. There's no current flowing through, so you got an infinite reading, or it's shorted out and you've got 0 ohms resistance, and there's going to be your problem, okay? Now, as well, if you've got any grunge or gook or rust between this part of the loop here and the magnet, you're going to have a problem there. We need this clean. That way we're creating the magnetic field. When that magnetic field breaks, this here will send current through these 2 wires to the CDI, to the spark plug. That creates spark. You're racing down the road. So if we've got a bad loop or a bad coil, we need to take it out. And once again, we've got these small screws here with the Phillips head. A flat head will get in there too. You want to be careful. These things here get seated in and they're hard to remove. They tighten them up pretty good at the factory, so make sure that the screw head is clean. Make sure you've got a good, not beat up and worn out screwdriver to remove it. This is where your impact tool comes in handy as well. Remove your 4 screws. Now, that magnet is going to make you want to cuss and break things, because it's going to fight you every inch of the way. You start to get this loose, you start to pull it out, and the magnet's going to be sucking it back in and the like. So take your time, take it out. You go ahead and just cut the wires, pull it out, okay? So when we put it back in, first thing we want to do, we want to prep it. Now, the white wire that's on these here, this will provide 6 volts for an LED headlight or whatever they say, but it does so at robbing the amount of current that this thing makes. So clip that white wire off and throw it away. Make sure that there's no chance that anything that's left of the white wire will ground out and touch the engine case, because that'll stop this thing from working, okay? So get rid of the white wire. It's dead to us, okay? First thing we want to do, we want to prep it. In the manufacturing process, they put a varnish over the whole thing. It kind of waterproofs the coil assembly here, this part here that's got the cloth wrapping on it. But however, sometimes they get too much of that varnish on this metal part here, and what we want to do is we want to take that off, because this here needs to have a good electrical connection path to the case. We want it grounded to the case, okay? So what we're going to do, we're going to take some sandpaper. I'll use about 120 grit sandpaper or a fine file, and you want to get rid of any of the varnish here, particularly where the 4 screw holes are, so that way when this here goes in the engine, that it's got a good connection to the engine. You want to as well file or sand the top part here where the screws go in, okay? Now, that magnet's going to be fighting you, right? We've got this clean. We've got the area where this mates on the engine clean. Let's go ahead and push your wires through the front outlet on the engine. Now, push this in place the best you can. Like I said, that magnet's going to be fighting you. What I'll do is take a business card and use it as a shim to create a little gap in either the top or the bottom. It matters not at this point here. Just enough where I can get this thing in and help me from fighting that damn magnet. Start one screw. You're going to have to look through it, get it lined up, wiggle it, jiggle it. Take a screwdriver, just barely finesse it. We're not going to use brute force because we can break things. Get one screw started, get it just barely seated, go on to the next screw. Once you've got all 4 of your screws in, let's remove the shim, the paper shim that we've got in there. You want to visually look at it and make sure that you've got an even gap at both the bottom and the top, that the gap is the same, okay? Because if that magnet's scraping against the metal, you're going to have problems, all right? Now, you want to waterproof this here if you're going to be riding in any of the wet stuff and you want to expect this thing to survive. So you want to get some RTV silicone, squirt a little bit in there where these wires go through. Oh, hey, one more thing. Not all of your coils are going to look exactly the same. Now, some of them have a red wire. Some of them have the blue wire. The red wires are supposedly the high performance ones. I don't know about that, but hey, if it runs, it runs. But the black wire is what's different on some of these here too. Instead of it being soldered onto the body of the loop here, of the coil here, the metal part here, you just have a ring terminal. In which case what you do is you put your screw through it and have it ground to the body of this here when you screw it down there. Put your gasket on. Put your cover on, seal it back up. Now, we've got these terminal connectors here, okay? I like to just go ahead and cut them off, strip the wire down about a ½ inch, do the same where it goes to the CDI, twist the wires together, and get you a wire nut and screw it on there. These push-in connectors are okay, but they get loose after a while, and you'll get a bad connection, and they'll go bad on you when you're out on a ride, and then you'll have to mess with it. I like to just go ahead and use a wire connector there, okay? Okay, now for the kill switch. I don't run the kill switch on these little 2-strokes here. I don't run a super high performance one. If you had a high performance one that puts out a bit more horsepower than the stock, yeah, go ahead and go with the kill switch. I'd wire it up a little bit differently, but that's something different here. But for your standard ones, your one with the, an expansion chamber, a little porting work, you don't need a kill switch. The kill switch sometimes will cause you to fry your coil there. So I leave the kill switch out of the equation. I'll just pull up, hit the brake, the engine will die. You don't need a kill switch, okay? So I hope I've helped you out on your coil assembly, the loop. Some people call it the Magneto. Hopefully we got you tearing ass through the neighborhood. I got links down below for everything. If you like my video, give me a big fat thumbs up. There's a subscribe button there. There's a bell thing there if you want notifications when I got a new video uploaded. I want to thank each and every one of you for watching. Y'all come back now. You hear? Take care.